Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to part 4 of building the Airbnb SaaS. In this part, we are going to focus on the user experience. So we need to redo the entire flow of how they actually create a guidebook, because right now it is super, super crappy. It's just like you just ask a couple questions and the questions don't even really make sense right now. They're like, there's too many of them and whatever. So we're going to completely redesign it. And I have a design in mind of just having clickable tabs on the left-hand side of like personal information, house information, rules, things to do, places to see. Boom, 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 boom. And you can click on each one of them. So if you want to go back to personal info, you can just go back and edit that, then this one, and then this one. And then there will be a final submit button that will actually take all the information from all 5 of them and send it off to the API to build the PDF and also build the guidebook, the URL. So yeah, I've got my twisted tea tonight, actually. Believe it or not, I'm doing twisted tea. It's probably not good for the brain, but I'm offshoring all of my intelligence to the artificial version anyways, so don't need it too much. Normally stick with Monsters or with coffee. I think I've had a different drink for every single series or video in the series so far. So, check out what I got in part 5. Also, I didn't expect this to be like, I just looked at it and this is probably going to be like a 9 or 10 part series, because there's a lot of things that we need to do. But I guess that's what it takes with building a SaaS. So yeah, with that being said, let's get to it. Okay, so here we go. Here's our code base. And if you remember from last time, this is where we're at with our website. Again, the home page is all messed up. It's all on the left side. I haven't gotten around to fixing that yet. But right now, this is what the form looks like, and it's all just on one page, and it looks really crappy. It just is not. It's just not very. Yeah, this doesn't look very good in general. So I'm thinking if on the left side of the page, over here, if we have the boom, boom, boom of property details, host details, Wi-Fi, whatever, and then you can just click between each one, and then just have all the main stuff over on the right side. And then it can like kind of take up the entire screen as well, or at least the majority of the screen, instead of it just being like this little tiny thing in the center. So let's get to it. It's going to be a big ask for Gemini, so let me craft a prompt really quick and I'll be right back. I just realized that I was paused on that entire speech that I just said. But let me tell you this. So this is something that happens sometimes. I just created this whole prompt to tell it what to do. And what did it decide to do? It says, I'll be in touch shortly. I'll be in touch shortly. I'll be in touch shortly. It is tweaking out. I don't know why this happens sometimes. I don't know if it's specifically a Gemini problem or specifically a Windsurf problem or what, but I have run into this error quite a few times, and it's very annoying. So I'm just going to tell it you're tweaking. Chill the frick out, bro. And it usually gets the message. Sometimes they say, like if you're rude with, oh my God, it's tweaking again. Okay, still tweaking. What's going on with you today? Oh my God, this thing is cracking out, dude. Oh my God, it's just happening. Let's begin by exploring directly. I'll be in touch shortly. I'll be in touch shortly. What? This might be a problem. We might have to actually switch, and I don't like doing this, but let's see. But normally we use Gemini 2.5. Let's try with a different model. Gemini or GPT 4.1 is actually a pretty good model, and it's only 0.25 credits. So I kind of want to go with that one, but 4.1 is just definitely not as good as Gemini 2.5. This one's free. I actually haven't tried the Sui one. This is an internal Windsurf model. I'm realizing now that you can't see anything here. Sorry. Let me fix this so you can see what I'm talking about. So these are the model selections down here. And so normally I use Gemini 2.5, but there's Claude Sonnet 4, GPT 4.1, Sui 1 is the free Windsurf version. Claude 3.7 or 3.7 Thinking is even better. And O3 is actually a really good model, but you'll have to pay attention to this at the bottom, the 2x for Claude Sonnet 4. That's too expensive for me. That's probably the best model, maybe even better than 2.5, but it's not worth that 2x. 2.5 for Gemini is very good. I'm actually gonna go, I'm debating 4.1. Let's just try 4.1. And let's go back to our original prompt here. Let's revert this so that way we have it. And let's just see if 4.1 tweaks or not. Because if 4.1 tweaks as well, then we're in for some problems. Here's a summary of the plan update. Add a note capturing the user requirements, now updating the plan file accordingly. Okay, it looks like GPT 4.1 is going to do a decent job. I do like one thing. It's kind of funny. Every AI has its own personality to a certain extent. In 4.1, something I kind of like about it, most of the time, is it's very like questioning. Like it always asks like, next steps, confirm this component breakdown and section list, or let me know if you want to add or remove any sections. Once confirmed, Gemini wouldn't have done this. Gemini would have just started writing. So depends on what you like, you know how you like certain coworkers, other coworkers you don't like that much. And it's nothing against them necessarily. It's just who you vibe with the most. And when you're vibe coding, vibes are all that matters. So let me read through this and then see what 4.1 can do for us. Okay, so this is what we're at right now. It looks pretty good, I think. So now we can have everything just ready to go right off the bat. And then we have, I just told it to have everything pre-populated, so that way you don't even have to actually type anything in. It's already all there. The host info stuff, that'll have to be redone. But everything else is like bada boom, bada bang. Rules, and so then we'll have just delete. So we should have actually more rules ready to go. And then actually it'll just be, we'll have to change this to just be check marks of like, what do we want to include? And same with activities and nearby food. And so for food and activities, we actually want an API that's going to take the address from check-in info. And then, so actually let's change this to welcome info. Let's change it from check-in info to welcome info. Actually, let's not even change that. That doesn't matter. But let's change check-in info so that a user cannot go to the next. Actually, let's just change it all so that, let's change the flow so that a user cannot go to the next step until all fields are filled out. Until, actually not all fields, until required fields are filled out. Only require location, I'm debating on whether or not we want to require host name. I don't think that we do. I don't think we honestly want any of this required. Only require location for now. I'm actually going to accept all of this first. So let's see what this is going to do. It's going to require that you type in a location, and eventually we want to tie in Google Places API, so that way this will give a legit actual location. It's not just going to be whatever you type. You can't just type in 123 blah, 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 blah. Like, it has to be a legit actual place. So that's going to be required. And look, he broke everything. Good job, 4.1. Good job, ChatGPT. Okay, it's fixed. Okay, sick. So now that that's required, and so now I'll just do 321 Alphabet Street. And then we want a little thing next to that. So let me look this up. I'll do this part myself. On the HTML, check-in section, location, on change. So it's this string that's pulling from guidebook template. What? Okay, that's actually not how I thought it was going to be designed. Now I'm kind of confused. I was just going to add an asterisk to the location. So add a asterisk to location so a user knows it's required. That's like a waste of an API call to Windsurf right there, to just add a freaking little. Okay, what page is this on? Check-in section? Oh, how did I not see that? How did I not see that before? That's ridiculous. Come on, Andrew. That's embarrassing. I couldn't even see. Wait, no, yeah, that is weird. Oh, it's right here. Huh. There's the asterisk. Weird. Okay, whatever. Whatever. That's now required, and everybody knows it's required. Welcome to your homestay, blah, blah, blah. Host info, etc., etc. So this shouldn't be pre-populated, actually. So this is what we're going to do. Let's replace actual pre-populating the forms with just placeholders so that they have examples. I'll specify, let's replace some of the actual pre-populating the forms with just placeholders. For host info, we should make host name and contact info placeholders. For Wi-Fi, we should make them both placeholders. Let's see. For food activities, and activities, they should all be placeholders. Actually, for food and activities, we should not pre-populate at all, to be honest. We shouldn't be populating these at all. So, and then rules, we will pre-populate. We're going to change it into check marks, and it will be a lot nicer. Also notice that there's not even a submit button right now, so we can't even submit the freaking the JSON to actually create this as of yet, which is fine, but okay, so it did that. So these are now just placeholders. Okay, that's placeholders. Food and activities are empty. Rules. So for food, activity, and rules, checkout info requirements should also be a placeholder. Checkout info requirements should also be placeholder. And then after it does that, we're going to accept the changes because we haven't accepted in a while. And then we're going to go, then we're going to ask it to change food, activities, and rules. And so I don't really like the design of this so far. So one thing is that they feel too big. Food, activities, and rules are all too big. So we should, food, activities, and rules are all too big. So we should, one, make this like smaller. So that way that we have multiple we can just make them columns, turn them into columns. And then two, it'll just be check marks. So check, check. Actually, is that even the right way to do it? No smoking. Quiet hours, please keep noise to a minimum. How do we want that to look? Activities. Okay, let's just start working on that. So first off, accept all because it did pretty good on this. So yeah. So for food, activities, and rules, we should not actually for food and activities, don't show anything. Don't show any form at all until they click add. Because that's actually, I don't want it to be, yeah, this is better. Food and activities, add another, add. Okay, so then we add one and then we can add here. For food, activities, and rules. Actually, I think rules is going to be different. Actually, for all three. So for all of rules, activities, and food, we should make them columnar so that we can have up to 3 spots per row, 3 columns per row. I feel like that's a good amount, depending on viewport size. Okay, so the idea is that this will be, instead of taking the entire width, which is so unnecessary, there will be like 1, 2, 3, and then you can have each one of those activities separate. Yeah, I feel like that looks way better, right? And then add another, add another, add another, add another. So let's just check this really quick though. We should also check here, if we go to like a smaller view, like, okay, that's actually going pretty well. Yeah, I think that looks pretty good. And then of course, the mobile view is going to be terrible. This is not optimized for mobile, and honestly, nobody should be doing this on mobile. So I'm not even going to be worried about mobile for now, for this process of making one. We'll worry about that later. But I feel like that looks a lot better. We should pre-populate more rules. The rules should be different, actually. Should be checkable so that the user can simply select or unselect as preferred. And then that's actually nice. We can have a user save his rules in the database, so that way if he has specific rules that apply to multiple guidebooks or places, then you can just click on the pre-populated rules. Wow, 4.1 does feel pretty fast though, huh? No smoking, no parties or events, no pets, quiet hours, no unregistered guests. Oh yeah, that looks way better. No pets, remove shoes indoors, turn off lights and AC when leaving the property. Perfect. So I have an idea of how this will work actually. Whenever a user creates their own login, the rules will automatically be pre-populated to their login. So whenever somebody creates an account, they get like 7 rules that are just pre-populated. And so then when they go through their first guidebook, all we'll do is pull all the rules associated with their account. So if they could just delete all of the rules from their account and start afresh, or they can just copy these ones that are already there. I feel like that looks pretty good. Yeah, I like that. So for food and activities, these are going to be unique because food and activities, we're going to pull from a API from OpenAI, most likely, to figure out from location up here, find nearby activities, and then we'll suggest like 5 of them, and then they can delete or whatever as necessary. For food and activities, we should have 2 separate APIs. These APIs will take the location of the property and search for food or activities in the immediate vicinity. So let's actually refine this. So what we are meaning to say is for food and activities, we should offer the ability to pre-populate recommendations via AI. We will have 2 separate APIs. These APIs will take the location of the property and search for food or activities in the immediate vicinity. By the way, once again, I'm typing in that lower left corner, or lower right corner, sorry. So I'll just move my camera. These APIs will take the location of the property and search for food or activities in the immediate vicinity. I feel like that's pretty good. We could use a little bit better of a prompt. I will also mention we already have a similar API build, but that one will need to be deprecated. But actually, I'm not going to say that yet. Be updated later. Read that one to see how it calls OpenAI and duplicate that methodology as best to suit the needs of the new APIs. Okay, this one might take a while. This is actually going to be kind of complicated, but ideally it's going to be just like a button that says populate with AI, and then just boom, and like 5 different activities are just going to pre-populate, and so that way you don't have to come up with your own, basically. Yeah, this is actually turning out pretty good. I mean, we haven't even gotten to the submit button yet, so still got a ways to go for sure, but this is basically pretty good. Then of course we're gonna have to add into Places API. I feel like that's gonna be, I was planning on doing that in a whole other video, but honestly I could just do it in a video as just like a sub part of it. Both endpoints accept, okay. Yes, add the pre-populate with AI buttons. So sweet, it's got the idea. 4.1, I gotta give it to it. To the model, 4.1 is kind of killing it. I didn't have this much faith in it. 2.5 was doing really well itself, but so far I haven't had any major failures with 4.1. 4.1 has been freaking killing it. So I like, and 0.25 token cost. Gemini is on a promo right now and it's only 0.75, but still, so this is 1/3 of the price. Windsurf is also really nice though, by the way. The reason I use Windsurf so much is because it doesn't charge you per token. It gives you like 500 API calls per month. And so like every time that I make a prompt, it's like one call. So I get like 500 prompts a month, which honestly maybe doesn't sound like that much, but pre-populate with AI. Let's see if this works, guys. Let's actually first, we'll do this. Location, 123 Main Street, New York, New York. So that way it has that. And then let's see, pre-populate with AI, and it does not work. Of course it doesn't work. Wow, what's going on? Error, connection refused. Wait up, let's see what's going on here in our terminal down below. Oh, our thing's not even open. But, oh, that's because it's facing an error. Okay. Our API server crashed. It looks like there's like an F string that is not supposed to be an F string. Can you see that, guys? Right down here. That's the error, prompt F string. So I'm guessing that that the 4.1. I was just gassing 4.1 up too, by the way, and now they immediately mess up. Good job. What I changed, prompt F blah 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 assignment in both now has a correct closing triple quote. It didn't have a freaking correct closing quote. To be fair, I do that all the time, so I can't give it too much crap. But it's like, dude, you're an AI, you're a robot. How do you have typos like that? That's crazy, isn't it? Let's see if this works now. I'll be pretty impressed. No recommendations found. Please provide a valid location to generate locations. Oh, let me say I'm getting an error for no. Let me just copy paste this. We should be taking location from the form on the check-in tab. So that is going to be a little bit more complex. It's because we do need to pull this location right here. We need to update that in React. So have a React hook saying 123 Main Street, New York, New York, and then put that over into this activities. So when we call that API, it'll do it. And wow, that was actually, it did it really easily. So, okay. Let's try it. Pre-populate with AI. Let's see, can it get it? And it got 5 of them. No recommendations found. What the hell? What in the hell? What in the hell, dude? Request payload, and they got the response, right? Wait, this is a different one. It got the response. You know what? I think it just doesn't know how to map it correctly. Okay, here's the response from the API. It's working now, but it's not populating our UI. Make sure that it creates new, not new guidebooks, new activities / rules when we click that button. Also include the image in the rendering. So including the image is actually going to be kind of tricky. So we'll see. I believe in 4.1. If we can do it, I'll be pretty impressed. I'm going to pause this for a second. Okay, I got my card. All right. This thing is honestly not very good. Am I allowed to show myself drinking on camera, or is there like a rule on YouTube for that? I feel like there's YouTube rules against this. But you know what? I got 9 views on the last video, which I was actually pretty impressed by the way. I was like, 9 views? It's 9 people saw this video? There's no way. I don't know how they calculate views, because a view definitely can't be the entire way like of watching a video, right? Like when you're watching it, like if you say, if you're counting a view, it's got to be probably like 30 seconds of a video or something, because my last video was an hour. Nobody watched that whole thing of an hour long. There's no way. So like, I wonder how long they have to stay on the video for it to count as a click. Anyways, okay, so we've now got this pre-populated with AI. Supposedly it was fixed. We'll see. Let's test it out. Let's see on this side. It's calling it pre-populated with AI. Let's go, baby. Let's go, dude. Let's go. add to the AI or APIs to include address in the return. Because we should also be including address here. Unfortunately, none of the images load. So loading these images is going to be a pain in the ass, man. It totally is, but we will figure it out. And food, let's see if food works. Pretty popular with AI. And then I feel like there's a few other things that we need to do still. I wonder if it's gonna go. Ah, no recommendations found. What the heck, dude? None of these photos worked. This worked. Except it didn't. Okay, so what's wrong with AI food? And what is wrong with AI food here? Come on. No recommendations found. It is working. It's just make sure to do the same. Make sure to replicate it to the food thing. Make sure to replicate it to food, not just activities. Okay. What is present in both? Is the UI populating for both? It should populate address as well. Because I don't think it was populating address, and I never told it to do that, so. Wow, this is actually so impressive. I'm like a complete developer because of AI right now. Like, why am I so good at developing? It's literally because of AI. I'm a terrible developer, I feel like. I know what I'm doing a little bit. I'm not completely going off vibes as much as I like to say, but I am going I'm going mostly off vibes, bro. And just like double checking everything. I got a like on Hinge. All right. Hell yeah, guys. I feel like I'm on a Twitch stream right now. Maddie. Maybe I should be on a Twitch stream. I always feel weird with people looking at me though. And then I get distracted sometimes. And I feel like if I'm live, like actually streaming, and then I get distracted, it's gonna be very awkward. But I guess it doesn't matter. Like, I don't see any of those people. They only see me. I'm like a tiny streamer. That's actually such a good point of like, I'm tiny. Nobody's watching anyways. Like, that's the beauty of having 5 viewers. It's not like I'm a huge streamer to where like I have 1,000 viewers. Why is this API taking so long? It shouldn't take this long. This is very odd. What the heck, bruh? What in the hell? But that's the blessing of being small, right? Like, you don't have to worry about anything. Dude, what? This is just broken now. It's just completely broken. It's all these photos. These photos are having trouble. So I wonder if OpenAI is actually the best thing to go for here for pre-populating. And I'm thinking probably not. Because OpenAI won't ever, the main thing is OpenAI won't ever return the images. So if we can have some type of other API, maybe Yelp even, or Google Maps might be able to do it, or maybe some other API. If we can have one of those APIs go and just look up the locations of these places and maybe return those images, like that would be perfect. Because getting the images is what's the hard part right now. And right now it's like, yeah, this is just completely broken. What the heck, dude? Why is it just not working at all? 23 New York. Let's try activities because this one was working earlier. So let's see if it populates here for one. And let's see if it's going to go here. Okay, so activities works. And an image. Holy hell, guys. We got an image. That's sick. Oh, but it's returning the address of the actual thing that I put. When I said the APIs should return address, I meant the address of the recommendation, not the address the user inputted. Okay, so the food API isn't working now. AI food isn't working, but the AI activities is. That doesn't make any sense. Okay, I don't need you to tell me I'll make these changes. Yeah, good, make them. That's what I wanted you to do anyways. For some reason my windsurf has been really slow. Wow, why is this one breaking all the time? Okay, let's try this again. 123 Main Street, New York. Food. Should I try food? Let's try activities again to see if that fixes in, because activities was at least working beforehand. Man, I got a lot of hair. I need to get a haircut. And look at this, now that's working. That's sick. Look at this. Liberty Island, New York. And look at that, we have the actual addresses now. Perfect. 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 Let's try food. This one hasn't been working, but we'll try it. So the OpenAI API, it just returns most of the time like unsplash images, like just some random images from the internet that actually have nothing to do with the business that it recommended, which is problematic to say the least, because most of the time they don't even populate, they just give 404 errors, and when they do populate, it's just like random shit that doesn't actually have any pertinence to the thing that it's recommending, which is not ideal. So we're gonna have to figure out a fix for that. So we have food and activities that we can just click on. But yeah, pretty good. I just realized something else. So this is essentially the guidebook right here. Oh my God, dude. Oh my God, this is just the guidebook right here. Why would we use this just as the edit form when this can just be the actual guidebook itself? And then just people who are reading it, they just won't actually be able to edit it. So you have to be the owner to edit and to add things like all that. But just a regular person can just click on it and it's fine. Oh my God. Instead of doing so that whole other video that I had, the last video, video 3, that thing can just be scratched pretty much, part 3. Because this is totally the way to do it, is just have the guidebook like this, and then this will be the URL once it's finished, once you're done editing. It'll just look like, it'll literally just be this exact same thing. Of course, when you get everything populated, it needs to look a little bit nicer, but yeah. Oh my God. Also, what the hell is this, dude? Why is there 2 different things? Okay, so that's one thing that we'll do though, is we'll be like getting rid of all the input text boxes and it'll just be the actual input. Oh my gosh. Okay, but I think that that's a better design. It is a way better design, right? But also, why is my food API not working? My food API isn't working. It's just loading forever. Odd, because the activities one works just fine. But yeah, this will be the product right here, what we're building. This is 100% the guidebook. Okay, that's a big epiphany that I just had. I'm glad that I came up with it now instead of later. I mean, it's already pretty late, but I've only sunk a number of hours into this. Okay, well, this might be it for the day. I feel like we made some pretty good progress building this out, and now we have a new vision for what the future is going to look like. I think the main thing right now is we've got to get these images to be able to populate right. So the food and activities recommendations, right now they're not working. And ideally, when we click add, all that you have to do is type in an address, Burger King, and then Burger King will show up with that address, and we click on it, and then it will pull an image from Burger King and the address. You already typed in the address, maybe that, so then the name, and then you can give it a description as well. But the image should be pulled directly from Yelp or whatever API. So that's what I'm going to look into, is if there is a Yelp API or a Google Maps API, whatever it is, that can just tie in here and give you, so that way when you just do an add another, it'll automatically search for what you're looking for. That's gonna be hard, but it'll work. Also, above the guidebook here, we should have an image placeholder. That'll be nice. And then maybe an image on this too. But that also means that we need to make this friendly for mobile. So that way when we get to the viewing portion, it'll all be looking good on mobile device. Wow, so a lot of work to do. Now that we're deciding to switch things up. But I think it'll look really nice. I think it'll look really, really good. All right. I'm going to call it for the day. I will see you in, part 5 now? This is part 4, so yeah. What's after that? Okay, part 5. Toodaloo.